Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. I started The Volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks.
This LeBron injury is weird because, like I said earlier, he, throughout this season, has taken time off to try to avoid, be better prepared for the long haul, right? LeBron, guy falls into his ankle, he finishes the game. But then he decides to take a couple weeks off or a week off because he just wants to make sure that it heals all the way. Same thing goes with his the other injury he had later in the season. I'm blanking on what it is now all of a sudden. But this most recent injury, it's a little more serious, right? Because these are really meaningful basketball games that he's missing. But I think LeBron has accepted the reality that they're going to be a play-in team. And I think he understands that the most important thing is for him to be healthy because they are going to have an incredibly grueling playoff run. They're going to have to play a really good basketball team in a play-in game just to get into the playoffs. And then from there, they're going to have to beat one of the two best records in the NBA in the first round. Going into a second round series against a team probably like Memphis, going into the conference finals against the other one of the Golden State Phoenix team that they don't play. He's got a long playoff run ahead of him, so he's got to get rested up. But it's funny because I think that this knee injury to LeBron is exactly why it's so important for the Lakers to go all in this season and to do whatever it takes at this deadline next Thursday to send out whatever they can to try to maximize this window. And the reason why is really simple. First of all, you win titles in NBA history by having the best player on the floor. You win titles in NBA history by having a super duper star. Let's go back in time. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo last year. The year before that, it was LeBron James. The year before that, it was Kawhi Leonard. The year before that, it was Steph and KD. Then it was LeBron. If you go back, you might find a handful of teams like the 2014 Spurs or the 2018 Celtics. But even those teams, it's like, that's Tim Duncan towards the tail end of his prime. That's Kevin Garnett towards the tail end of his prime. And those teams had tons of talent. I mean, Kawhi Leonard literally won a Finals MVP that year, and he might have been their fourth best player. So the reality is you need to have that super duper star, and the Lakers do. They have that guy. Before this knee injury, LeBron was probably the best player in the league. That's how well he was playing. He was having these stretches of Draymond Green-esque defensive impact on the back line for the Lakers. And then on the other end, he was having one of the best and most efficient scoring seasons of his career. That's exactly why this is so urgent. When I look at LeBron signing with the Lakers back in 2018, you would have been thrilled if you got 2 good years out of him. We're on year 4, and he still looks like that guy. Now, his knee just randomly blew up today, or the other day. Just started swelling. There may or may not be some weird fluid sac on the back of his knee. I don't know if you guys saw that video that went viral the other day. It was really weird. But his knee randomly got big, because that's what happens with old guys. It's like Carmelo Anthony tonight. Carmelo Anthony did a pump fake, 1 dribble pull up to the left. A shot he's taken 1,000 times in his career. Thousands of times in his career. And you know what? His hamstring ripped. Because that's what happens with older guys. So the reality is LeBron is probably getting close to the end of that window. But right now he's still there. And the second reason why they have to go all in is because there is an opportunity here. We're going to talk about title odds here in a minute. But if you look around the league, it's like you look at Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's falling apart. They've lost 7 of their last 9 games. You look at Milwaukee, they already have over 20 losses. They're not anywhere near as dominant as they've been in years past. The Miami Heat don't have that super duper star. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid looks incredible, but they don't have a second star for him. The Phoenix Suns look incredible, but they don't have a superstar. The Golden State Warriors are breaking apart with their health. This back thing with Draymond Green is weird. And the Memphis Grizzlies are probably too young. There is no juggernaut team in here that is very clearly going to beat any rendition of the Lakers. There is a window of opportunity here. There's a window of opportunity. If some things can go right for the Lakers, they can go on a run. And so there's no point in clinging to assets or anything along those lines, thinking of having 1 foot in the moment and 1 foot later on, when the reality is there's an opportunity here to go try and win a championship. And so even though LeBron's knee is hurt, even though it seems like the window's closing, that's all the more reason to go all in. Not to mention, there's a playbook in the NBA, a very easy way for you to go and replenish assets. We've seen so many teams do it over the years. All you got to do is eat salary for a year and take some picks back in return. It's what every team does when things start to go south. It's what the Golden State Warriors did in a very short period of time. Here recently. It's easy to recoup assets in the NBA. You can do that down the line. You don't get LeBron James, though, forever. You get him for this year. You might get him for one more pretty good year, and you're going to get a lesser version of him from there. And as we've seen with Anthony Davis, he's not really up to the task of being that alpha dog superstar. So the reality is this is the chance. This is the chance, and the Lakers have to go for it. I think you have to ship THT out. I think you have to ship the 2027 first out, and you have to find 3 or 4 able-bodied wings that can fill those roles that I talked about earlier in the show. That's what has to happen in this last week, and I'm really curious to see if they get to that point.